What's up, Fandomaniacs?
Hey!
Welcome back to another episode of Tandem Fandom. I'm Mick.
I'm Courtney.
And welcome to our Raw review, where we give you our reactions for Monday Night Raw.
Bro.
Interesting show this week.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. I think ever since the brand split, there have been some highs, there have been some lows, but I feel Raw has been pretty high for the most part.
It's been pretty solid. I like the pacing they're keeping with it. I haven't really been bored.
Yeah. I think they have been utilizing what they have a little better, and maybe it's the third hour. That's where I can't decide. I can't decide if it's like what they're doing is better, if
or they just have more time.
Yeah, if it's the more time, but you look at some of the, segments that they have, it's like, oh god, that was so long. Like, it could have been shorter, but then you look at stuff and it's like, they have more opportunity to do things and put things out there. So, but they open the show strongly with certified G's, bona fide studs, and allegedly you cannot teach that.
You can't. You just can't.
Yeah, so Enzo and Cass coming out, warming up the crowd, and man, these guys are real big time.
Absolutely. Every time the crowd just explodes for them, and they feed off of the crowd's energy, the crowd feeds off of their energy. It's just a match made in heaven right now.
It is. And then you injected possibly the two best people that you could inject to be opposite these guys in Chris Jericho and his surprise partner Kevin Owens, forming JeriKO. Or JeriKO. Would it still, you could just call it still JeriKO.
No, it'd be JeriKO.
Okay.
Like rated RKO.
That's true. But just awesome. Their chemistry.
Battle of the Smack Talker Skywalkers.
How you doing? Yeah, it's just great because Owens is so sharp and quick and creative on the microphone.
Yeah.
JeriKO is too. You got the stupid idiots thing. You've got literally everything that comes out of Owens' mouth is gold.
Yeah.
It gives me an opportunity to do a Kevin Owens impression every chance I get when I hear this man speak. It's amazing. I love it.
It was so over. There was already a sign in the audience for JeriKO.
Somebody had a damn Sharpie on them and was like,
like, I know it's live. I know it's live.
Yeah. Yeah,
somebody had some insider information. Somebody was like sneaking around the locker room or something, but there was already a sign before they said it.
Yeah. So,
I'm watching you, Illuminati fan, in the crowd.
we went into something that has actually kind of become a favorite segment of mine.
It's almost like the U.S. Title Open Challenge.
Kind of, except it just ends horribly for one of the participants.
Well.
And of course we're talking about Braun! Really like what they're doing with Braun Strowman. I kind of wish he would get a different finish. The reverse chokeslam, it just looks weird because it's like a weird bump to take.
It's a weird bump to take, but it's something that a big guy would do to a little guy in real life. It looks kind of sloppy. It looks devastating.
Yeah.
I like the realism of it, just the flailing.
Yeah, it does look a little more like a car crash type of finish.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look clean in that regards. I look at it and I kind of question, like, okay, let's say he goes against a Titus O'Neil or like a Mark Henry, like a bigger guy, not bigger than him, but a little closer in size or just like a larger guy.
Yeah.
How does it look with a guy like that? Is kind of where I look at it, because when he's smashing J-Brons on a weekly basis, it's like,
maybe that's
whatever.
Where they'll change it, he'll go for it and he can't, and oh no.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see if it sticks. But we had Jor-El Nelson, who did not speak.
He did not, and it was great, because I was like, is he gonna like pass out or pee himself before he gets to the ring? Because that's what he was selling to me. I loved it.
It was pretty cool, and I like that every week each one of these guys that have been squashed are different. You know, you had what was it? James Ellsworth, I think, was the first, the internet darling that everybody fell in love with, and now it's probably forgotten. But like his whole, you know, if you got 2 fists, you got a chance. Like it was endearing and it was cool and it felt really good. And then you had PWX's own Corey Hollis, or Evan Anderhall, I think they called him, which is like, he's performed as Corey Hollis. Why don't you just call him Corey Hollis?
He's still making jokes about the $1,000 to show, $5,000 to win.
Well, he got his $1,000, which good for you, Corey. And then this week you had Jarrell Nelson, and apparently that's the name he works in the Indies. Huh. So I was like, well, huh.
Well, screw all these other guys.
Yeah, well, screw you guys, I guess. Or right, screw you, Corey Hollis. Basically, that's what it was.
You can keep your name, but you can't speak.
Because I think James Ellsworth, I'm pretty sure that's what he works as on the Indies. So I'm like,
well, maybe.
What did Corey Hollis do that they can't let him use that name?
Well, since he has wrestled as Corey Hollis in NXT, maybe they have plans for him in the future and they don't want that name associated with the brawn crushing.
Maybe? I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe he was like, don't you besmirch my name.
Don't you besmirch the name of Hollis. But I like these kind of, you know, job matches. I think it's good. Eventually I do think we're not going to see him working against, you know, kind of extra talent. I think he's going to start working his way through.
It's just like they did with Baron Corbin.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like they did with Ryback too. They did the exact same thing with Ryback, where he started facing like 2 guys. And I get the sneaking suspicion Braun's gonna do the same thing.
That'll be great.
Why do I feel like Feed Me More is going to make a return?
No, I think Ryan Reeves owns that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's all over his new nutrition line. He's got Feed Me More towels, weightlifting belts.
Okay.
Like that, I think that belongs to him.
I'm still hungry. I'm still hungry. Ooh, or maybe it'll be Braun Strowman rules. Braun Strowman rules. I'd be interested to see that. Backstage, got the Puff Daddy segment with the bootios.
Yeah, you know.
That was the thing
Dropping
that happened.
albums and stuff.
You know.
He ate some bootios, like reached into Kofi's arms to eat some bootios. So
never did I feel more out of tune with pop culture when like Puff Daddy started naming all these rappers, and I'm like, these are people? I don't know who any of these people are.
And it's really great because Mick Foley's like, oh yeah, this person tall, wow.
And I was kind of like, does Mick know?
Well, he does have a younger daughter.
This is true.
So maybe he's a little more hip to the groove than we are.
Yeah. Hip to the groove? That's what the kids say, right? That's what they say, right, Internet?
Hip.
What's up, fellow kids? How'd you...
Here's a quick random factoid for you. You know why being a square came from? Like, where that term came from?
No.
Be there or be square. You know why you're a square? Because you're not around. If you're not there, you're not around. So you're square. Take that one to the bank, put it in your pocket, impress your friends, pull it out at your next party.
So back to wrestling. Darren Young and Titus O'Neil have this continued feud. It was a solid match. I mean, they have great chemistry against each other.
Yeah, they really know how to work each other.
I don't know that I'm really into them feuding.
It kind of breaks my heart.
I just feel like there's no real positive outcome for it. You know? I would have preferred to... I mean... The whole Darren Young, you know, we're going to make Darren Young great again. You know, the curse of Bob Backlund where, you know, he is your manager and your career goes into the shit. You know, literally the only survivor of that was Kurt Angle. Like, yeah. But, you know, I basically, it's like, I look at this feud and I'm like, I don't know what the end result is.
Right? Like, is Titus going to save Darren from Backlund and be like, you're being crazy? Or are they just going to completely turn against each other and never work together again?
Yeah, and the weird thing where, like, Titus pulled the tights, and then this week Darren pulled the tights without Bob Backlund seeing it happen, so I'm kind of... Again, I don't know where they're going with this. And looking at this is why I really think, and I think SmackDown needs this too, is a TV-type title.
Yeah.
Because looking at Darren... And, you know, Titus just having worked with Rusev and now Roman being involved with Rusev, it's like they need that extra, you know, device to help drive some feuds, because I think Darren Young as TV champion would be really good.
Yeah.
To push what they were working with the Making Darren Young Great and the
Yeah.
That, and it's like he said, "Oh, like I'm still gonna get that title, coach," talking about the Mrs. And then that was it. And it's like, well, no, you're not, because he's on SmackDown. You're on Raw, guy.
Yeah.
Are you gonna go after Rusev now and get your ass kicked? Because probably. So I don't know. It's that match, I think, hurt Darren Young more than it helped Darren Young.
Yeah.
Because of the weird ending.
We'll see where they go with it.
Yeah. So I don't know. This feels weird, but we talk about what is probably the best part of the show: Seth Rollins telling the story of Finn Balor, and he's talking about like, it's, Finn McCool and
some made up name. I can make up a name too.
I mean, it's like me calling myself Rambo Apocalypse. Like, that was the best. I was like, man, they need to make Rambo Apocalypse shirts, because that is hysterical. Like,
hey, they might.
This promo was so cool, and I kind of thought, I was like, is he gonna call out the fact that he was Prince Devitt? Because he's like,
right, he was that close.
He didn't ply his trade as Finn Balor. That's not his name. And I'm like, say his name, Seth. say his name. But it didn't happen, but it was still a cool promo. Again, Seth just showing why
he's a wizard on the mic.
Yeah, he's the man. Like, Seth is just so entertaining no matter the situation. And I feel like he's a great counterpoint to Finn. At least what they're doing with Finn.
Because Finn is like the silent rage and Seth is the king of the mountain.
Yeah. Of course, we come to the best match of the night, which was against Cesaro and Sheamus, and holy cow, these guys have great chemistry together.
They really do.
And I think part of it is like, Sheamus kind of working a little stiff, being a bigger guy, Cesaro being a big guy and athletic. Just they just really good, excellent match. Cesaro won again. Hopefully getting an opportunity at a belt again. But
hopefully he won't lose
again. But, what did you think of the Brock Randy story?
Good classic stuff, man. Especially because they haven't really worked together in
ever.
They had a match.
Yeah, in OVW 15 years ago.
15 years ago. So we don't have this like story, we don't have this build, we don't have this history, but they took us into the history books to give us, they worked together in OVW.
Yeah. What is OVW?
Right.
It was...
And they Randy talking about they came up with Shelton Benjamin and John Cena and Batista, this world-class group of athletes that came out of the as if it were some magical time that all of these titans of wrestling,
our old buddies, that these guys, and then Brock.
These are the guys I trained with in the beginning, so I'm great and we're great and everything's great.
And then Brock's response was the absolute best in the world, because he was like, I don't give a shit about Randy Orton. Everything he just said was bullshit.
I don't remember any of those guys. I don't remember their names.
He's like, I'm aware of Randy Orton. We're not friends. We never have been. We don't talk. He doesn't really know me. I don't really know him. I'm aware of him. I just don't care. And it's like, this is why Brock is great.
Right.
Because Randy really did. He was like, so wrestling with these guys every week, in and out of the ring, building these bonds to see. That's my Randy Orton.
That's the Viper.
Yeah, because he's a snake man. And then Brock's just like, I don't care. It's great. Like, it's really great.
And of course, Paulie coming up behind him being like, Randy Orton, he's the best surfer on the beach. But as soon as the big shark comes along, it doesn't matter,
Yeah. Brock was getting dangerously close to delivering another blood, vomit, urine. It's not going to be pretty, people. Like, he was getting real close to that. I was like, yes, say it. Do it again.
He started going at the end, and I was like, cut the camera. Cut the
camera.
Cut the camera.
Cut the mic. It was cool, though.
But, good, classic, fantastic, it was a small package with a lot of goodness in it, because it's a really quick build for them at SummerSlam, but I'm excited.
Yeah. Okay, I tell you what I'm not excited about. This next segment that we get to talk about, where the Dudley Boys bullied Neville in the back, and it's like, oh, if you can find a partner, and it was Neville and Sin Cara against the Dudley Boys. Solid match. Really? This is what we got for Neville? Yeah. And Sin Cara? Like,
I really wanted...
Lucha... Holy shit, they could still be the Lucha Dragons, because Neville's British, dragons are English. Son of a bitch! It's still the Lucha Dragons, because the Lucha...
They could just be like Arrow Rojo or something, I don't know. I want to see Sin Cara work by himself. I want to see Neville work by himself. I want to see Neville utilized more by himself. I mean, maybe he needs to work a little bit more on his out of ring.
This is kind of why. This is kind of why I thought Neville was done a slight disservice being put on Raw, because with Rusev, yeah, it's pretty clear. Like, especially now with Rusev working with Roman,
yeah,
that title means a little bit more than. You know, being a mid-level.
Right.
Because I think when you look at SmackDown, like Miz and Apollo Crews, like, that's how it should be. It's like Apollo's new, he can, you know, Miz is a great veteran, he can help, you know, boost the profile of guys, and it's like, where does that leave a guy like Neville or Sin Cara?
Yeah.
Like, and Darren Young, Titus. It's like, right now, get crushed by guys like Rusev or Roman, or... just hang out and have a match with the Dudley Boys. Because obviously they're not in the tag title picture at all, because, well, the Club and the New Day have that. And again, it's like Enzo and Cass are at that point, so it's kind of, it's a missed opportunity, especially for a guy of Neville's ability and talent. Like, yeah, maybe needs to work on the mic skills or develop a little bit more of a character. Maybe they are going to do that with the teaming of with Sin Cara, but... I don't know. It made me sad. I was like, really? Can we not do something with this guy?
Yeah.
Maybe the Cruiserweight title? Maybe that's where they're imagining him. But he's way bigger than 205 pounds.
Well.
So I don't know. Again, I think a TV title would help a guy like Neville. It's like, that's where he can really develop. But solid match. It was just... I was sad.
There's really there's nothing building off of it. It was just a match.
Yeah, kind of. And now I'm kind of curious. I'm like, so is this going to be a rematch next week? Are they going to do... You know, like, Sin Cara coming out looking like the Gimp from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, the all black was kind of strange.
Or he was kind of Batman-ish a little there, too. He was all...
shiny. His eyes were reflective at some angles, which was
Neville.
Extra creepy, but...
Hey, you know, whatever floats your boat. I'm not going to argue with Hunico. He'll kick my ass. Much like he does everybody else, apparently. And that's the thing, too. I was kind of like, well, maybe this is where they refresh Sin Cara, turn him back to Hunico, do something different with him.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's interesting to see. But, speaking of boring... This next segment, I'll let you talk about it, because you want to know what I was doing during this majority of this next segment. Daniel Bryan put on his Instagram a video of him getting a little French bulldog to sing. So that's what I was doing during this segment. I was watching that video because it was hilarious. So it was very boring to me. What do you have to say?
It was boring for a reason, you know. They drug it out just long enough. Of course, we're talking about the Lana Rusev, you know, letting you relive the moment with us, and
it was painful.
It was like, okay, it was my wife, she belongs to me, and there's 3 cakes, and we're
somebody's getting cake.
Somebody's going into the cake. So we're waiting and 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 waiting, and Roman Reigns' music hit.
Hey!
Finally, everybody's excited to see him.
Good God. Why couldn't you? There's no way you couldn't have been, because it was so long.
Right.
It was so long.
They would have been excited if the power went out, like.
Well, I'm sure it was by design to drag it out, because it really was like, yeah, Raw's 3 hours, but holy shit!
We don't have any more matches.
Come on, man! Like, what? How long is this gonna go? It was painful. Ooh.
But it was fantastic because we got to see a little bit of a different Roman. He comes out and he's
get a little drink.
Being a big old sassafras.
little drink.
Little drink, you know, you ain't got a best man, you know.
It was really fun.
Coming in, being the cool guy wedding crasher, like, hey, and it was great. It was great. Everybody loved it. It was a good pop for Roman, and I'm happy because, like I said, he came out like a real cool guy, and Roman seems like a real cool guy, but he hasn't been allowed to be a real cool guy.
I think that this was one of the best versions of Roman that we've seen, because so many people have like criticized, like, no, he can never smile and he has to be strong and blah, and it's like, no, he's a former football player, like jock athlete, very similar to The Rock. Like, he should be kind of cocky and cool and like, you know, I'm just the chillest dude in the room. Like, that's kind of who he really is.
Well, I mean, look at the Usos. They get to be that guy.
Yeah, it's like, you should let him be him.
Let him
because,
be all mahalo and stuff.
Yeah, like, whatever. You know, hey, lay back, brother. Like, that's kind of how he is, and I guess...
Drinky drink.
Yeah, well, that line was awful, but...
I loved it.
Get a little drinky drink. But still, like, the whole thing, he felt... It felt like he had personality.
It felt so natural, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't feel like he was stumbling and like, reading lines. You know, he felt like...
He actually had personality.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this is who he is. But he was also able to flip that switch and start whooping your ass.
Right.
So
it was perfect.
It was nice. It was a good touch.
Lana goes into the cake. It's like red velvet cake, so it's all pink and red all over her white dress.
It looked like the scene.
I hate you!
It looked like the scene from Carrie. It was great.
Really did. It was fantastic. Worth the wait.
So the next match we got, and again, I like that Sasha Banks is performing consistently on Raw.
Yes.
They put a stipulation that if Dana Brooke won the match, it would be a handicap match, which was Sasha's suggestion, which was like, why the hell would you suggest that?
Why would you do that?
Why would you be like, yeah, you could team them up against me, I don't care. And if, of course, Dana lost, she would be banned from ringside. And I was like, okay, Sasha wins, of course, so Dana will be banned at SummerSlam. I'm interested to see, so does that mean Charlotte's gonna win now? It's like, I've got no excuse, Sasha.
We'll see what happens next week.
I get the sneaking suspicion Nia Jax is going to be involved. I really do. I think Nia Jax is going to crush. I feel like if Sasha wins, Nia Jax comes down and smashes her. That's my guess.
That's right. She doesn't just take just what she's given or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Like, literally.
She's not like most girls.
Yeah. They were always thinking about thinking. Oh, so Finn had a great promo. And
yes, in response to Seth's promo, but his was pre-recorded, so it got to be even cooler.
Yeah, it was really cool.
The Irish mythos and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. And
he's like, I've accepted my demons. You haven't accepted your demons. I'm going to be a demon.
Spooky fingers.
Spooky fingers.
So here's the question, though,
Come for you.
You know, the go home is next week, but what do this match is the hardest one for me to figure out, is Seth versus Finn, because part of me says, nah, you want to put the belt on Seth. He's so good as a heel. He's so good. He is a proven commodity as champ.
Yeah.
But do you really sacrifice the Demon's first appearance on the main roster to Seth Rollins? Because at that point, it makes it really hard for Finn to pull it back out. Because it's like, well, you lost us that last time. Why would you do it? But it's really friggin' cool when he pulls it out. So where do you see it going? Do you think Finn wins? Do you think Seth wins? Like,
I'm gonna go dream match here. I say Finn wins. I think it's like a 30-minute match.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
I think it's just like, you know, with him and Samoa Joe, it's gonna be Seth, you know, pinning him, and he keeps kicking out. You know, Seth is just like, what do I have to do? You know, I feel like that works really well, especially with Finn. I feel like Finn's gonna win. Seth underestimates him.
Yeah.
And you can't overcome the demon. He wasn't ready for the demon.
I'm kind of with you because I really, like, it's tough to just, let's pull this out and then not,
right,
you know, have a payoff for
unless Seth wins dirty.
Which even then, I don't know. It's weird. We'll have to see. Speaking of great promos, though, Ringpostitus with Doctors Gallows and Anderson. This
I feel like they just did it.
They did. They were like, hey, just
and
put a
then
camera on
presented it to, because I mean some of the stuff they do off camera on their own cameras is pretty ridiculous and funny anyway.
Yeah.
So for them to actually, like, this, I'm so glad that the WWE sees this hilarity potential with the club, because they're like the anti-New Day. They
really remind me a lot of ways of the Outsiders in that, like, they have fun and they're just like the coolest guys in the room, but they're badasses and they can beat your ass. You know, I mean, I've said
it was the boiled eggs in the jar. Like that's what really drove it home.
I've said it before. I think they're the best tag team in the world, and part of that is you can literally put them into any situation and they work. They work in any possible situation. It was a good solid match between Kofi and was it a tag match or was it just a match? I can't even remember.
I think it was a tag match.
In any case...
By the way, they tried to diagnose Kofi with a little ringpostitis, but Xavier stepped in.
With the chair shot, like, oh, come on! Come on! Like, it was great. But what was not great was that stupid Scooby-Doo spot. Oh my god, it was weird!
Kids watch WWE too.
It was at like 10:30.
But you still gotta pimp it.
I know, and I get that. I feel like the one they did with The Miz, way better.
Yeah.
Way better. It was funnier. This one just felt weird.
Well, I mean, it's Golden Truth, so they're weird.
Yeah.
I really feel like the build towards Golden Truth was way better than Golden Truth has become.
It feels like they don't have a place, or they don't have a spot right now.
Which is still kind of their gimmick, you know?
Yeah, I don't know, it's just, I'm with you. It's like, the build-up to them was more entertaining and funnier. Like, the Pokemon Go stuff is funny, but...
That's not gonna last much longer.
No, and it's, again, and they're veterans. They serve one purpose: put over tag teams. But they're not even wrestling.
Right.
So I don't know.
I think they're gonna dissolve soon. I feel like Goldie's gonna get sick of Trizzle or something.
I don't even know. I think we're gonna get sick
of
it.
I follow Goldust on Twitter, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
is he like, I'm getting tired of this crap?
He's like, you need to focus, R-Truth. You know, there's no more Pokemans and this stuff.
So.
This is me texting. Sorry.
Daniel Bryan shows up with the invite from Mick Foley. There was a big sass factory.
Yeah.
Like just
a big sass off. They're all like, oh, you know, you're so great. Oh no, you're so great. Oh, you're so great. All right, cut the crap.
Hey, cut the crap, man. No, this was cool. I kind of like the build between the brands, the creating the, you know, kind of driving that wedge, the competition, especially for guys like, you know, Mick and Daniel, who are like nice guys and good guys. You know, so it's good to see them get in there. Of course, Cesaro comes down and he's like, hey, you know, I want another match against Sheamus. I was promised a title shot. Where is it? Daniel Bryan with the best. You know, I think you're criminally underutilized here on Raw, Cesaro. And Mick Foley's like, all right, it's enough. This was like the weirdest spot of the whole show where he's like, okay, we're going to have a U.S. title match right friggin' now.
And it's like, hey.
That's okay. And
like maybe it was a rib against Cesaro, you know, you want one, here you go, right now. You've already had a match with Sheamus and it was a slobber knocker, but hey.
Yeah, get your ass
out there. You want
your
fucking title shot, here's your fucking title shot.
I mean, Sheamus, of course, comes down, throws the interference. You know, it was a great match. I felt like the Sheamus and Cesaro feud did not need this. I really do. I think you didn't have...
Well, they're both competing for the same title contention.
That's true, I guess. Okay. Alright, you've convinced me. Yeah. Of course, at the end, Roman comes down, obliterates Rusev with...
Spears the crap out of him.
What a great sell by Rusev. He entered the Matrix and, like, just floated in a moment. It was really, really cool. Of course, Cesaro showing, like, hey, I'm right there, I'm right there, I'm right there. Sheamus costing him that spot. I didn't like that they were like, well, it's Roman Reigns against whoever wins at SummerSlam. I hate that shit. I really do. It's like, I don't know. I hate when that happens. It's like, you don't even need to acknowledge Roman in this situation. Acknowledge the match right there, right now. Because future, whatever, you can talk about that later. You can talk about it next week. Because Roman could be like, you know, I still got my shot, and you got this belt, had Cesaro won, but it's pointless. But good show this week. I liked it a lot.
Solid show. Excited for next week for the go home for SummerSlam.
That's right. We're getting closer to the hottest event of the summer. But let us know what you guys think in the comments below. If you want to see our SmackDown reaction, click the link right there, and it'll take you to that video. And if you like what you see and want more wrestling goodness, click this link right here to subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure you give that thumbs up if you like the video, and if you really like it, give it a share.
And if you want more of us, feel free to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for all of our crazy backstage antics and, you know, fun stuff.
And just keeping updates. Right now...
Good lucha things.
Yeah, good lucha things. God damn! Woo! Well, as we always say here on Tandem Fandom, if you're gonna be a fan...
Bring a friend.